Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning again. It's good to be able to talk to you again. As you can see, I've succumbed to a coronavirus haircut over the weekend. Had to be done, and we're thinking again today about the resurrection and the importance of the hope we have in it. Before we get on to our reading, though, I want to also remind folks that we have asked you to send in photographs of the folk that you're currently in lockdown with. Could be a selfie that you take at the minute, or it could be a photograph from a while ago, but photographs of folk from our congregation who are in lockdown together at the moment. And we're going to put them on a slideshow at the end of Sunday's service, because we know that you're missing seeing each other. And so it's just a way of being able to see each other's faces when we can't be together. We are thinking about still the resurrection, and I want to this week look at one particular chapter of the Bible which really focuses our thoughts in on this and its importance for us, and it's 1 Corinthians 15. So I'm going to read the first 11 verses of that just now. 1 Corinthians 15. Now I would remind you, brothers, of the gospel I preached to you, which you received, in which you stand, and by which you are being saved, if you hold fast the word I preached to you, unless you believed in vain. For I delivered to you as of first importance what I also received, that Christ died for our sins in accordance with the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas, then to the 12. Then he appeared to more than 500 brothers at one time, most of whom are still alive, though some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, and then to all the apostles. Last of all, as to one untimely born, he appeared also to me. For I am the least of the apostles, unworthy to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God. But by the grace of God I am what I am, and his grace toward me was not in vain. On the contrary, I worked harder than any of them, though it was not I, but the grace of God that is with me. Whether then it was I or they, so we preach, and so you believed. A lot of discussion at the minute about what's really important, and how our idea of what's really important has perhaps shifted a little bit in the last few weeks. The kinds of things that we find important now are the things that we really always should have found important: family, friends, faith, health, and happiness. Those things that are that we all know money can't buy, but sometimes we take for granted. Sometimes we just think, well, those are just there. But actually we've realized how important they are for us, and we've also realized who is important. Who's important in our society? The people who keep society going. Yes, the healthcare workers at every level, the care assistants and carers, the supermarket workers, the delivery drivers, the public transport workers, all those folks who just keep things running in our society. We recognize actually the important jobs that they do, which are not often reflected in the amount that they're paid. But whenever we start to think about what's important in terms of our faith, then we have to start focusing in on certain facts. And when we think about the resurrection, sometimes we'll be asked, well, is that really important? Does it really matter? Couldn't Christians still go about, and do good things for people and care for people and follow Jesus' teachings without actually having to believe that he rose again on Easter Sunday? Does it really matter? Well, let me ask you a question. What marks us out at the moment as Christians? What marks us out from the rest of society? I had a conversation with one of our congregation last week on the phone, and we were talking a little bit about this and how it's the hope that we have as Christians that marks us out from everyone else in society at the moment. And what is that hope based on? Well, it's based on real events that actually happened, historic events that were witnessed by people and that changed people's lives. Paul talks about that here in 1 Corinthians 15, where he talks about how people witnessed the risen Jesus. Large groups, small groups, individuals, and lastly, Paul himself saw the risen Jesus and were convinced that he was alive. We thought about Thomas last week, who had to be convinced, who had to see the flesh and blood before he would recognize that Jesus was alive. But he did. And he fell on his knees and called him my Lord and my God. The historic event of the resurrection changed Thomas's life, changed the Apostle Paul's life, and changes our lives. And that's what makes these events good news, that they happened, that they were witnessed, that they changed lives then, and they change lives now. These events are gospel events. They are of first importance, and they are good news for you and for me, because they are the basis of our hope today, now, in the midst of pandemic, and every day that we live. This is what we base our lives on as Christians. This is our hope, and this will sustain us and help us through these times. God bless you. Please remember to send in those photographs so that we can put them together, and we'll speak again soon. Take care.